Paul says this is what's happened in your Christian life. Jesus is at the seat of power now, but sin is still present there in your body, and it's always going to be working to get back in control. So you got to be fighting it because it is constantly on the move in your life. Listen to me. Sin is a predator, and it is always on the move. And there's a bunch of you that think, oh, it's not, I got some areas of compromise. I'm not doing what God wants here. This is probably not the best, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just a small area of compromise. It's just a little itty bitty tiny thing, and it's not going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a big deal because it's not affecting anything. You understand that sin is a predator, and it is always on the move. And it is dangerous, and it is always trying to get in so that it can just grow, and it will always lead you to slavery and captivity. Always. It kind of reminds me of when you read one of those headlines. I read one this week, in fact. Florida man mauled by pet cougar. Right? And so I got to read that. So I read the article, and you find that there's some dude down in Florida who's got a pet cougar named Fluffy. And Fluffy snapped one day and ripped his face off. And the articles, have you noticed, they're always the same. They're like, all these interviews with people like, I just couldn't see that coming because, Fluffy was so gentle and Fluffy was, just such a, and I'm reading this and I'm like, Fluffy is a cougar. Fluffy is a predator. I know that you think you've domesticated Fluffy for a little while, but first of all, Fluffy's a cat. You can't trust cats. Second of all, Fluffy in Fluffy's DNA, for years of breeding, Fluffy is a predator. And you might get him to act like something for a while, but that inner nature of who he is, it's gonna come out. And if you keep Fluffy as a pet, Fluffy's gonna rip your face off someday, okay? That's what Paul's saying about sin. You cannot tolerate compromise. You can't tolerate small sins in your life because they may feel like small sins, but they're simply small cougars that are gonna grow up and one day they're gonna rip your face off. Right, metaphorically speaking, because sin is always working for mastery. And Paul said, don't you play around with it because it's working for slavery. It's working for mastery in your life. It's why John Owen, the Puritan, used to say, you got to always be killing sin or sin will be killing you.